Hello, this is a video for the BMW motorcycle F800ST 2008 model. Hello, but this will still cover many other years for the same type of bike. The problem that I had, which was that the display was not showing neutral, and then it was intermittent, showing first and second, and then I managed to get it to show first and second, third, fourth, fifth and sixth, but neutral just would not appear. And then, of course, the bike would think that it wasn't in the correct gear, so it would cut out while it was stationary and idle. I then seen there was a fix online, which is, this is your gear selector, sort of sensor. It detects what gear you're in, and this then tells the computer on the bike, what gear you're in, what's the display to be, first or second. Also probably links to other components in the bike as well. But anyway, this is just located just in front of the main drive pulley cog on the belt drive, and it's just behind there underneath the plastic cover. Now, a lot of people have had issues where if it starts to, the display starts to disappear on your bike. See in here, this is where the clip is. That can sometimes be full of rubbish and crud and dirt, and so can the plug. So take it out, give it a good clean WD-40 or whatever you prefer, and then put it back in, and you might be lucky enough to find out that it's working. How this works is, you can see in the central bit here, this revolves around with a pin from the gearbox that sticks out. You have to be very careful. There's two types of these. There is a T-shaped, and this is a D-shaped. So there's a T for Tommy and a D for Dumpling. There we go. And if you put in the actual pin, once you're sitting it in, it's easy to check and see where it is from the pin as well. It's quite fragile. They're made of plastic internals, and that's why you can see mine here is actually broke. That's why I was missing the gears. It just was not. It would occasionally catch, and then it would come back round. When you're resetting this back in, you have to make sure that the housing it goes into is clear, because I had lots of plastic particles sticking in as well. And one thing I did as well, I cleaned the side stand switch, because when I reassembled this with a brand new one, it actually comes with the wires built into it, and the plug and a plug sort of flex, so you have to tuck it away more. But there's a real issue with this, that it just confounded me, and I was absolutely pulling my hair out thinking, have I been sent a dodgy sensor? Now, when you get the bike into neutral, right, get the bike back into neutral and start the bike up again. And then at least you know it's not going to jump, or else at least you can select neutral gear, so you're confident you've got a neutral gear before you fit this. The D shape must be aligned with this in the middle, and you can turn this with your fingernails. Just be very careful. Don't use it, for God's sake, don't use a screwdriver, Ed, guys. You'll just shatter that. That'll just snap off and break. And there's a wee circlip around that missing as well, or a wee clip, metal ring. It'll break again, so just use your fingernails so you can get it round gently. And then once you're at neutral and you've got it positioned in and you've put it on the bike, it sits like that. So what you want to do is get it in, and then I tightened the bolts up, and then neutral disappeared again. And I thought, oh, there's something worse. I thought, here we go, I'm just going to end up selling the bike. I can't be bothered. But no, I just can't be bothered. I'm not taking it to a BMW dealer where they'll charge me about 260 quid just for this part, and then whatever ridiculous labour. You could have an hour and a half, whatever, and then you're looking at a bill of nearly £500 probably. Motorworks sell this for £145. That's Motorworks. If you're not sure what they are, Google that and you'll find them. And they do sort of really good quality parts, new and used as well. Anyway, when I put this back on the bike, I screwed it up, got everything set it in. I thought, great, started up, as I was saying, neutral, disappeared. It just flashed very briefly this time, and then off it went. And I thought, maybe it's even calibrated. So I checked on Motoscan, the app. The Motoscan app then didn't have any calibration for this in at all, so that was useless. And then I thought, well, right, okay, I've seen some people discuss that if you ride it for about 20 seconds in each gear and just go through the gears, and it should recalibrate if need be. That's pointless. That did nothing. This was already calibrated as soon as I got it. Internally, this was bang on. How did I fix it? Well, what I did was, when I put it on, I put the first bolt in here, and I actually tightened it feel it just snugged down as we normally do, right? And then I realised, see if I moved it very slightly with a bit of force to the right, just a bit of force, there was a bit of play there, enough play to cause the internal parts of that to come off the neutral voltage. There's a voltage sort of circuit in here, and it detects where the disc is internally on what specific metal connection to allow the voltage to come through, so it identifies the gear. It was just off it. It was just going. So when I pushed that like that, just enough to push it in like that, just that slight movement, and held it and put that down pretty tight. I mean, I did do it tight. I thought, God, I'm going to end up breaking it. But I did notice there's metal inserts. See that? There's metal collars in there. Metal tubes, so that bonds down really tight. And then it stayed on, the neutral light stayed on, and then I snugged the back up. But I didn't do the back as tight, so I didn't want to pull it away or cause any fracture. I did the back tight enough, but not bang on as tight as I did that one. And it's stuck, and it's fine. I think what it is that the bike I've got is well over 52,000 miles now, and it's been, before me the bike was all over the world, which is great, but the fact of the matter is, I think what's happened is that there's some wear on the actual pin for the actual gear coming out the engine, and that's how there's a slight variation in it, and that's how you get by it if you've got a high mileage bike, or you find the same thing. So if you get one of these for an F800ST BMW, you put it on, it's fine, the connection's in it, you get the right connection to the back, the D pin or the T pin, depending on what bike gear you've got, you check yours, and it's aligned up correctly, you've put it on, and you've made sure this is all clean, and the housing's clean, and you put it in, and the neutral light still decides to disappear. You just need to push it up really tight against forward, and then snug it down, and then you should find that the neutral light stays on. It's the only way I got it to do it, which is really odd, because I would have just went to hell with this. I can't be bothered with the bike again. You know yourself, when you're out there and it's biking, you know, you're starting soon, and then you've got a problem. But first of all, check. A lot of people have said they've been lucky enough to identify that the problem was this, needing a good clean, because it sometimes can work itself loose. And this clip just simply lifts up here to allow the plug to be pulled out. But as you can see, that's fractured, and that's no good to anybody. So there's a lot of wear in that as well. So what would happen is that the pin from the engine would just spin sometimes, or even miss it completely. And there was a lot of play. So anyway, I hope you find that of use. Unbelievable, this part is as expensive as it is. I've seen people online take off these two pins, so 2 pin covers here and 2 pin covers here. They sort of broke them off and ground them out, and you can remove it. But the problem is, I think that'd have been better being metal inside to protect it. However, that might be how BMW wanted to go back to them and spend money on a plastic component that's under a lot of stress sometimes, you know. Anyway, that's what to do. Hope that works out for you. If you find that useful, let me know. Again, it's just a video to help others. There's nothing worse than trying to find out stuff through forums and listening to other people's opinions when they've done absolutely bugger all, or they don't even have a bike themselves to deal with, and they're just copying other people's answers, which I have seen over the years. So hopefully this will actually help you to get it sorted. All the best.